see some of the projects I did over my lifetime.
Oh, Jefferson Memorial?
Yeah.
How much maintenance needs to be done on the stainless steel skin?
That's a very good question. I can't answer it since I have not been involved with it since we finished the construction.
Okay. When was the construction finished?
About 74.
74. I understand it took quite a engineering marvel to develop the elevators that go inside the.
Yeah, that was not our contract.
That wasn't.
Our contract was simply to Bob, these are all projects I was involved with. This is what we did.
Oh, you did hydro as well?
Oh, yes.
That's a scroll case.
And yes. And nuclear.
What hydro projects did you work on? Like this one right here. Which one?
I can't remember what that one was. But I never got to tell the other folks why I'm wearing this hat.
Why are you wearing that hat?
Thank you, Miss Reagan. You remember this situation? Anybody identify that?
9/11.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you'll notice these forks that go right there from one big column to three little ones. At that point in my career, I was the superintendent of the shop that did all that welding. And I proudly say that that's part of what the Muslims did not knock down. It's what we built. So that's the kind of exciting projects.
What kind of steel is used? Is it
there were four different kinds of steel, and 21 pieces. Actually, 4 different chemistries of steel, 21 pieces, and about 3 different welding procedures to match the chemistries in the appropriate junction.
High strength, lightweight.
Oh yes, all of it. Yeah. This is probably some of that's 110 KSI steel, 110,000 PSI strength.
Yeah.
Most mild steel is about 60. So this is 110, and so using HY80, for example, if you know what some of that stuff is. That was a kind of welding.
HY80.
High yield.
Oh, high yield. Okay.
80 KSI.
Was that a stick weld procedure?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all of it in position. And so that's the fun. One of the messages I'm trying to get across here is to get kids interested in in the toys that they're interested in early, like 12 to 13 years old. These little things they can play with. There's a little circuit that I'm even playing with today. It's cheap. This is an electronic thing. Here's a thing I've used. Here's another one that I've used to inspire kids.
Oh yeah.
And I started out with amateur radio when I was 13 years old, and that sort of got me interested in something other than playing silly games that these kids just develop their thumbs and not their brains.
Well, let me just interrupt and step you back a little bit when we were talking about the welding. Years ago, when the towers were built, it all would have been done by hand. Today, would it be robotic, done in a factory?
Well, there were some semi-robots that were used then too. We'd use a tractor weld that would put a track on it and drive it down.
Sure. A track weld. Yeah, I know what those are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
On the long ones, where these were welded like these welds in here would be track welded, but there are a lot of diaphragms inside these boxes, which had to be stick welded.
Stick welded, yeah, by hand, yeah. And were any of those welds, were they X-rayed?
Oh, many of them, yes, absolutely X-rayed. And if they weren't right, they'd be cut out and re-welded, and then re-X-rayed until they were 100% water clear, we call them. So what I urge you as teachers to do is to try to get kids interested in something when they're 12 and 13 years old. You look at Steve Jobs wasn't that young. He probably was. It's when you build a company in your garage, for example, like he did. That's how Apple got started. And so that if you're interested in that, you can have it. You think you can use it.
I get things like this as a science teacher anyways. I don't want to take it from you. I've seen basically, I don't know if it's this exact one, but...
Well, it's just one of many. That's another fun one. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
That will give a kid projects, specific to small projects, and there's a calibration of difficulty up there too. Some of them will take a week to do, some of them will take a couple of hours. But
very neat. I like this.
Keep it if you can use it.
I don't need to take it from you. I probably...
Well, if there's pull a subscription out, if there is one in there.
Okay.
Here's another really good one to inspire kids. That one is a wonderful catalog.
My biggest focus is ecology and natural sciences, and so this looks intimidating to me, and I'm a science teacher.
I don't know whether there may be some things in there that might fit.
Now, making artwork out of a gourd, that sounds...
Up your alley? Bonnie Eagle is in Brunswick?
It's in Standish. It's like Standish, Hollis, Buxton, Leamington.
West of Portland, right? Yeah.
Okay, you know where Leamington is. So, I'm pushing construction. By the way, our company would be bidding on those floating towers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. In fact, we built the Boeing wind generator back in the 70s, 180-foot blades. We built the blades out of steel. That was not the best way to build them, but we did a lot of work for Boeing, and this is one of them. And
well, they didn't have composites back in the 70s.
No, they didn't.
That's the biggest
improvement. Yeah. So I'm sure we would be building composites. You may see. Did you ever see the History Channel movie on the Alton, Illinois Bridge? That's another one we built.
I'm trying to think. I think I may have seen that. Was that a bridge that was being replaced, or a bridge that got destroyed by a flood or something?
No.
Or was this a new one?
This is a new
bridge.
New bridge.
And it was done in like 14 months?
Yes.
Yeah,
like
I think I did see
hell of a project.
Yeah.
We built the Blue Water Bridge from Canada to, from the U.S. to Canada. We had to learn the metric system. They already knew it. And so they started from their side. It was a joint project by a Canadian company. And we fortunately, they met.
They met in the middle.
That's right. Screw up. What was the launch where somebody didn't do something right? They didn't convert correctly from the metric system to the English.
The Soyuz hookup thing?
Yes.
Mir, Soyuz, whatever it was. Soyuz Apollo. Soyuz Apollo. Back in the 70s, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to be on the same wavelength when you're building stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Sure do. Wow.
So here's another fun. Here's a do-it-yourself.